Alright, lighting. That's cool. Hey guys, it's Amber, and I'm sick, so sorry about my voice, but I just wanted to talk about what had happened this past Sunday at DIGITour, and quite frankly, I am very ticked off. So, basically, I went to DIGITour Presents United 26 Tour on Sunday in Indianapolis, and it was quite possibly like one of the worst experiences I've ever had. So basically DIGITour doesn't know what the heck they're doing. So it started off with them being like, oh, VIP is at this time and the show's at this time. Wait, it's at this time and the show is at this time. They just kept changing the times around. Like, can you please get the time straight? Because that is something that's very important. I understand why Aaron was not going to be there. I understood that because his stepbrother had gotten in an accident and he had died. So I understood why he wasn't going to be there. DIGITour just sent out several emails saying that he was. So it was getting everyone's hopes up, and they were thinking that, yes, Aaron was going to be there. And to tell that to people who he means a lot to, like to tell that to those people and to get their hopes up is so wrong. And then for them to just turn around and be like, no, he's not here, why are you thinking that, this and that. And then also in the emails they had said that there would be 3 LA special guests. And so before they let us in for VIP, they're like, no, there are no special guests. I don't know who told you that, but it's just not true. So that was very irritating from the start, that there was such a miscommunication and everything, and they had said several times that there would be guests and that Aaron would be there, and it would be at this time or whatever. They said it several times. It wasn't even just one time. So once we got in the VIP area to meet the performers, so first of all, the lighting was awful. Like, I understand that it was dark in there, but in the lobby there's an area right by a window with perfect lighting, which they had DIGITour VIP at last time, so I don't understand why they didn't do it there again. So the lighting was awful, for one. And then, I don't know whose staff it was. I'm pretty sure it was DIGITour's staff taking the pictures. They clearly did not know what they were doing, because I and many other people did not get pictures, and they preferred to take a video and just video you through the entire line of guests. So when you were meeting somebody, they would point the camera at somebody else, and that kind of ticked me off because they didn't even film your experience, so you don't have that to remember later on. And then they would either point it at the ground or they wouldn't get everything, and they refused to let your friends film it for you, even though we would have been much happier doing it like that, because we would have made sure that they got everything that they needed and that we had something to remember meeting the performers by. And altogether, the VIP was literally a minute and a half to meet 6 people. That is absolutely ridiculous. Out of all the meet and greets I've ever been to, you were able to have, I mean, at least 3 minutes with each person. And the fact that I had to, like, everyone had to meet 6 guests in a minute and a half, that is absolutely ridiculous. And you only had time to say hi, take a picture, and then hug and then leave and go on to the next person. That's all you had time to do. And the fact that it was so expensive and then you only got a minute and a half altogether, that's BS in my opinion. It really is. And then after that, we were let into the room with the stage and everything. And so we were standing there, and all the VIP were in the front, right by the stage. And I was looking at my pictures, and I'm thinking, I don't have any pictures. This is absolutely ridiculous. So I go back to the VIP area, and I'm yelling at the guy, and they keep telling me to go talk to somebody else. Like, why can't you just address it directly? Stop telling me to go to somebody else about it. Because it truly is a simple thing. You can just take my pictures and then move on. But the fact that they were making me go to all these different people and nobody would answer my questions ticked me off even more. So finally I get to the right person, and I said, "You didn't take my pictures." And he said, "Yes, I did." I said, "Well, they're not there, so I don't know what you want me to tell you, but they're not there." So he was like, "Is it just with Jonah?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." It made me like get in the front of the VIP line, and then so I met Jonah again, and then I was like, "I'm sorry, like, they're not taking my pictures, like, this is ridiculous." And and Jonah was like, "I'm so sorry they're doing this to you and stuff, like, you're so beautiful," and he like kissed my head and stuff. And like after I met Jonah again and got my pictures finally, the guy who I had talked to and yelled at before on my arm so forcefully says, "No, you need to go around the back of the backdrop." So I couldn't meet any of the other people again. So like he was like making sure I could not go through again. Every single person I had talked to in there had an awful meet and greet experience. And these are people that we look up to, and the fact that we paid that much money right into Digitour's pockets and they're not doing a single thing about it. They're letting us meet them all for 20 seconds each. It really blows my mind. As somebody who is keeping you in business, I think that I should have at least more than 20 seconds with them. So when General Mission was squeezing us in there, we had asked the security guard to please make them move back some, because already at that point we could not breathe. And they said no. And I was like, "We can't breathe." And he said, "Not my problem." The point of your job is to keep us safe. I don't understand where the disconnect is. So it just kept getting worse and worse throughout the entire show. And people will punch you and like elbow you, and like there's bruises all over me. And these girls were trying to kick our knees out from underneath us, and like I had just gotten surgery on my ears, and this girl was punching me in the ear at least 4 times or more. The people behind us were trying to like get on our backs, and they were like choking us and like just elbowing us, and like I got hit in the face a few times. Like, elbow me in the face one more time, see what happens. And I am like generally a nice person unless you get on my bad side, and if you do something to me, you will see the devil. Seeing my friends get pushed around made me get more angry. They were pushing my friends and like hurting them, so then I would go and yell at them and say, "Get off my friend." That was making me angrier. I started crying about 45 minutes in the show, and it's about 2 hours. So I was standing there crying for like 10 minutes. My friend Ashlyn was saying, like, "You need to get out of this crowd. This is not good for you. You're already crying. Like, this is not something that you need to be around right now." And I'm saying, like, "No, like, it's fine, because Jaden, my other friend, I wanted her to see Daniel. And because that's like her best friend, and she's been waiting 2 years to see him perform and meet him and everything. So I wanted to stay there for her. And I was just trying to pull it together and stuff. I just couldn't, because no matter like how hard I was crying, those girls were still pushing me, still choking me, still everything. So when I started hyperventilating, they knew it was time to get me out of there. So everyone around me was yelling for security, and so whenever they were yelling, it made everyone else yell for them. So Hayes and Tez were on the stage at the time, and so when the security guard got over there, and by the way, it was the same security guard from earlier who told me not my problem when I couldn't breathe. So guess what's happening now? I'm having a panic attack, and you're the one who has to get me out. The people in front of me like moved apart, and then the guy reaches over the barricade and grabs me underneath the arms and pulls me over the barricade in front of the thing to get me out of there. And so I looked at Hayes and Tess for a split second, and I could just tell the look on their faces. They were so concerned. They didn't know what was going on. They just wanted to make sure I was okay. And then I looked at the crowd, and everyone's looking at each other. Nobody knew what was going on. And I was bawling my eyes out, and I was hyperventilating. So getting back to backstage, like to the first aid room, I really don't quite remember it because I was blacking in and out. And so when I got back into the first aid room, the medics were all so incredibly rude, I cannot even tell you. First of all, I was having a panic attack. So breathing really heavily, like crying, and like my entire body was going numb and like tingly, and I was blacking in and out. I was about to pass out. It was like just not good. The medics were yelling at me. They were saying, you need to stop breathing like that or you're gonna pass out. And the fact that they were saying that was scaring me even more, so it would make me cry more and would make my breathing go faster. And probably 2 minutes later, Jaden walks in the door with the medic, and she's crying and stuff, and I had known that she had a panic attack too. I think it elevated whenever I got pulled out because she didn't know if I was okay or not. And so they sat her down and stuff, and they were asking her, like, why are you crying? She said, I'm worried about her. And they said, well, stop. And that you don't just tell somebody's friend that, like, they need to stop worrying about them. Their way of attempting to make us calm down was to yell at us, which would make us cry more, which we had already been exposed to. Everyone yelling at us in the actual concert part of it, we did not need them yelling at us too. They were supposed to help us, and they were doing the exact opposite. They kept saying our entire body is tingling, and they're like, yeah, that's normal because you're breathing like that and you need to stop. And they just kept saying, you need to stop. And I'm like, don't you see I'm trying? And at one point they tried to make me drink water, and since I was still breathing like that, I was losing oxygen in my blood and my hands were locking up. So obviously I wasn't going to be able to grab the cup from him, and I was still hyperventilating. So I said, no, I'm going to choke on that. And I said, I can't even grab it anyways. And he was like, yeah, because your hands are locking up because you're still breathing like that. And I was like, alright. And then, so he brings the cup to Jaden to drink it, and I think she just had it, and she's like, whatever. The doors were open, so we could see by the stage area where all the performers were walking back and forth, and they were all walking past the room looking in there, and the looks on their faces were so upset because they couldn't get back there to see if we were okay, and they didn't know what was going on. They just wanted to talk to us and see if we were alright. So I see Jonah first, and Jonah's my favorite, so he looks through the doorway and he was so upset. And then Tez, he tries to walk in and then is stopped by one of the medics in the doorway, so he just pushes past them, and then he was like, are you guys okay? And we both said no. And then so he's like still walking closer, and then the medic was trying to say, you need to leave, you need to leave. He said, is there a problem? I'm asking if they're okay. Daniel like looked at Jaden and stuff, and he like did this little wave, and it was like, it was so sad. So we were actually so chill when we saw Tez come in there, and then they go and close the door because they watched us keep looking out the door just because we wanted to see them. So I said, can you please open the door? It is helping us watching them go by, because when they closed it, we started crying more and like our breathing elevated again. And they said, no, you're getting too excited, so it's making your breathing go up again. And I said, no, you're not listening to me. They are actually helping us. And they're like, no. And they just like refused to open the door again. And they kept asking her, like, Jaden, they kept asking her, why are you crying? Why are you crying? And she said, Daniel is my best friend, and he is on stage right now performing, and you're not even letting me see him. It ticked me off that because we had a panic attack, we were stripped of all of our privileges that we paid a ton of money for. And something that was helping us. Watching the performers walk by, at least, and hearing them was making it better for us, not the medics yelling at us. And so they literally would not let us go back into the show, like at least in the back, to see them at all. And they made us wait until my dad got there to pick us up, and by that time the show was over and everyone had left. It just kills me to know that Digitour was not allowing me to see somebody that has helped me. I'm just trying to get across that Digitour is something that you should not waste your money on. It is awful, and they at least need a better staff, or they need some revisions to their tour, because obviously something is not working and there are a lot of unhappy people because of it. Yeah. All I'm trying to say is don't go to Digitour, because it's a waste of your time and your money. Thanks. If you like my video, you can like and subscribe and comment what kind of videos you want me to make next time, and thanks for watching my rant. Bye.